something to do. Get the trigger. Darling, come and get you. Come here, really get you into you. Bad and bougie. Bad cooking dope with the Uzi. My niggas is savage. We got 30 to 100 rounds too. My niggas bad and bougie. Bad cooking dope with the Uzi. My niggas is sad and ruthless. We got 30 to 100 rounds too. All set. Woo, woo, woo.
The best part was coming?
Cool. I think you better than you. Bitch, I'm a dog. I don't know the rest of the lyrics. I don't know. It's over.
You know what? I don't think they know the rest of the lyrics. So that's the thing with that new kind of style. You think when they rehearse it, they go like, nigga, you copper do, not copper do, copper do. No, this nigga can't copper do right, man. This nigga fucking this shit up, man. You know what I mean? We're gonna get somebody else that could copper do, man.
Somebody that's gonna copper do. That's hilarious. I like these George Clinton P-Funk's Funkadelic glasses you got on.
I can't find the glasses anywhere without like, yeah, Quarantino, that's it,
You look like you about to set the roof off this mother, 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 set the roof off this mother. We got a real tight thing going down, getting down. There's a whole lot of rhythm going around. We need the funk. Get up off the funk. Ow. We need the funk.
There we go.
Yeah.
I take it you're influenced by your parents' music?
Yes, very much so. My dad is a huge George Clinton fan.
Oh, wow.
I mean, like, I don't know which album it was, but remember, like, when they had, like, the double-decker CD case? Like, you remember the CD case?
Yeah.
And this shit was that, but I've never seen anything like that before. Like, you open it up, and it's just 3 CDs right there. It's like a little pocket DJ board, like, in... Like, it was crazy. Oh my goodness.
I'm 3 CD and a case years old, so I know exactly what you're talking about. I used to send away for that, like, yo, where the 3 CDs at, yo? Yeah. I ordered it a month ago. When you got that flat thing in the mail, you're like, yeah, the 3 CDs,
Yo, I grew up so old school. Like, one of the first action movies they ever showed me was Commando.
Oh, wow. Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Arnold Schwarzenegger, Commando. And before Commando, it was Conan the Barbarian and Conan the Destroyer.
Oh, wow. I've seen all those. Wow.
My dad, he had the original Little Rascals. Mm-hmm. The black and white versions, the collection, the collection. It was like 5. He had 5 tapes of all the Little Rascals from 1935, 1940 or something like that.
Yeah. Those were the Black Lives Don't Matter edition.
Yeah. Oh my God, yo. Oh my God, keep that. No Black Lives Matter edition. That's hilarious.
Dude, you can have it, man. You can have it. Come on. You're my fucking guest editor. Anything that's being said is yours. That's the rule I have. You know what I mean? Like, I do this too much to keep anything. I'm like, be my guest. Help yourself to anything here.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having me back on the show. I better been. Goddamn, you've been sending me 45 damn videos to edit.
Now we gotta introduce you guys. Everyone, it's weird because you're the first guest. You know what I mean? Like because of you, I'm bothering people now. You know what I mean? Like,
they're like, yo, what the fuck is with Tino? He still ain't shaved his face. Yo, I swear to God, he better not be smoking weed. He better not be having them little struggle snacks that he be having at his open mic, man, with the grapes and the cookies.
Oh, nah.
I done bombed and got diabetes at the same time. Like, it's crazy. No.
I'm sorry, guys. I meant well. Hey.
Yo, do you realize that's why your open mic had to be like the most popular open mic when you was running? I'm hands down, because one, it was very busy. One, you had so many different like genres of comedians come out because we all came from, I guess, different factions of like the comedy scene.
Yeah.
And we all came together because none of us could afford to eat. We was like, all right, Tino got food.
Oh, damn.
He's like, I hope he got the grapes, not the ones that got the little brown ones. You know them little grapes that got the little brown ones at the bottom. They be all soggy. You try to eat around the brown part. You're like, nah, this ain't good. No, I'm not eating that.
I know. That's when it was there for like 3 hours. You used to come mad late, so you used to catch like what everybody used to like. Nah, not that one. That's a Rashad.
Yeah. I always got the last of the nasty grapes. It was like, yo, what the fuck? You couldn't refrigerate these or nothing? You can't get no plums in here? Like,
I know.
Get some nectarines. Let's get some nectarines. White people like nectarines.
I know. But they used to eat it. I mean, you put healthy stuff there. It's like, nah.
They was like, nah, we're not doing that. Give us gout. Let's get some gout. Oreos.
Oh man. Well, in my heart, you guys were thinking, wow, this guy is so funny that we really want to go over there and watch his comedy genius. In my mind, but we know it was the great. We know, we're gonna call a spade a spade. You know what I mean? But anyway, yeah, man, this is Rashad Bashir, guys. This is the first interview. This is and now our current editor, man, he's doing a fucking amazing job putting videos together and not just videos from comedians of English speaking variety. Also, El Espanol, you managed to put clips together for the Spanish community, for the Espanol community. How is that? I mean, let them know that part of you. I mean, the comedy part, they got a taste already, and they'll get more. But
First off, I like to say that it's fucking frustrating because I'm just sitting there with the brown emoji every time. What the fuck did he just say? I gotta go to my next door neighbors. I live in Washington Heights. I'm like, hey, can you translate? I go to my local supermarket. I'm like, can you ring that up? And yeah, what are they saying in the last 5 minutes of this video? Can you let me know? Oh, that's what they said? Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
But here's the thing.
They're illegal. They're illegal. Okay, now I know.
Yeah. Like me living in Washington Heights, I really have to learn Spanish because, it's a great way to communicate with people, especially when they don't know you and they trying to get to know you. Prime example, I went to the store trying to find a dustpan, for my house. So I go to the 99-cent store that's like a couple blocks away. There's a guy outside. He's like their security. So I go up to him. I say, hey, my friend. He's like, yes. Yes.
Trouble.
I say, hey, I was like, my friend, do you have a dustpan that folds? Like a dustpan that collapses? He's like, oh, yes. And he brings me over to the spatulas. I was like, wait. Like, nah, I said a dustpan that folds. He bring me over to the curtains. I was like, you know what? Thank you. I appreciate you. I was like, I gotta learn Spanish because this is how do you say dustpan
You did that. He like, oh, a book, oh, libro, a book.
I'm like, no. Oh my God! When he brought me over to the spatulas, I was like, no, I'm done.
It's recogedor, like recogedor,
what?
like it's like a picker upper, like a dustpan. You know what I mean? Like
Recogedor,
recogedor, like recoge to pick up. It picks up dirt. Recoge, yeah. Recoge.
Mi amigo, recoge.
Recoge, yeah. Diga,
recoge.
¿Cómo se dice? Escoba. Recoge. Recogedor.
Escoba, like, recoge. See, I'm learning Spanish. Yeah. Nice.
There you go. Listen, anytime you're doing another language, you're gonna do the hands is gonna be your first language. Trust me.
Yeah.
Been there, done that. That was my first, like way of communicating when I came to America. You know what I mean? Yeah, everything was like, my favorite was. Dame puto. Everything you got.
Yo, the universal language for anyone is body language.
Mm-hmm.
It's body language. If you can read body language, and you can tell what somebody is saying. Like when I was working at FAO Schwartz, I used to sell in like 5 different languages.
Wow.
So I used to teach in Spanish. I used to learn certain things. So like when I was showing kids how to throw boomerangs, I would say, Mañaca más fuerte rápido, avanza aquí. I was like, listo. They say, sí. I'm like, 1, 2, 3. So
you don't need much. That was it.
And I said, no abajo, recto, muy recto. And when muñeca más recto, and they would throw it and they would come around. I was like, oh snap! I was like, that worked. I was like, oh snap! Yo, this Spanish thing is all right.
There you go. Good job, man. Yeah, see, just body language is the international language, like you said. Like no matter what, no matter what you're saying, how it's coming out, they're like, yeah. But you did say it right, recto.
Yeah, you're straight.
Yeah.
I had to learn Portuguese. I had to learn a little bit of Portuguese. Had to learn French.
Ooh la la. Can we get a little sample of that? Because that's the language of love. For the ladies.
Bonjour, mademoiselle. Comment allez-vous? Bien.
Yeah, that's French.
Yeah, so
how do you say that in the boomerang? How do you say boomerang in French?
I don't boomerang. Boomerang. That's how they say. Mama, boomerang. Look around. Boomerang.
Okay. Now we know. Boomerang is boomerang.
In Portuguese is boomerangi. Boomerangi. Boomerang. Oh. Yeah, boomerangi.
Sounds so sexy. Boomerang. Yeah. Okay. Cool, man.
Yeah, man.
You get to interact with people from all over the world, right? Just let people know why you interact and why you know so many languages. Just because this is a great job that you have.
So I was a toy salesman. They Craig Jones Friday'd me, like, they Ice Cubed me. They fired me during quarantine. But see, white people have a very interesting way of terminating you. They didn't fire me. They didn't say you're fired. They said a change in relationship. I was like, what a change? Like,
Rashad, I gotta stop you because this has to be done in the Paul Mooney voice. Could you please bless the audience with your amazing Paul Mooney impression. Please, please. I heard it in Paul Mooney voice. I'm sorry.
So these bitches wanted to fire this nigga, and they said a change in relation. All right. First of all, you can suck my dick, white bitch. All right. Who says a change in relation? A change in relationship. That's called cheating. Ladies, if you come home and you see your man and he's getting his dick sucked by a white bitch, you say, why were you cheating on me? I didn't cheat on you. There was just a change in the relationship.
Oh, that was great. Oh my God. Oh my God, that was great. That might bring no water. I was holding it, man. I don't want to interrupt you like the last one. Like, I gotta hold it because it kept switching to me the last video. I don't want to do that.
Oh my goodness.
That was great.
And you want to know the craziest shit? I've been doing that Paul Mooney impression. I did it with another comedian out of Atlanta. He calls himself the Black Trump. Shout out to my man Manny Hodge. So we did a video where he calls me, where he's Donald Trump. He's the Black Donald Trump, and he calls me as Paul Mooney, and he wants me to come to the White House and perform for him. And I was like, I am not coming to the White House. The only way I would come to the White House is if you change the name from the White House to the Projects, nigga. I am not coming to perform for you. I am not doing it. And I did that impression, and the most craziest shit happened. Paul Mooney actually called me.
Oh,
I don't know who knows him, that knows me, that gave him my number, but they called him and said that I was doing the impression of him, and it was the most unbelievable thing that ever fucking happened to me. Because I'm sitting at home and I'm watching Netflix, and I see my phone ring. I don't recognize the number. It doesn't say private, so I pick it up, and I go, hello? And I hear this voice. This is Rashad Bashir. I was like, yes, who's calling? He said, nigga, you don't know who this is. This is Paul Mooney. I was like, what? I was like, oh shit. Paul Mooney is on the phone with me right now. He said, nigga, stop talking to yourself. I can hear you. I said, what are you doing right now? I said, I'm watching the Transformers on. He said, stop watching them white folks inside of their cars that stand up. I said, I'm only watching the first three. Like the last two were terrible. The first three were pretty good. He said, nigga, there are no black robots in any of those Transformer movies. There was one black Transformer. His name was Jazz, and that nigga was breakdancing. That is just a Puerto Rican in the 90s. I'm sorry, that was a Puerto Rican in the 80s.
Beat Street.
Where are the black robots? There are no black robots. Where are the black robots? Where are the niggerbots? Where are the niggerbots? There cannot be niggerbots that turn into cars because they only have $2 worth of gas in their tank. They have a busted taillight, a suspended license, a boot on their front tire. The music would be too loud, and they would constantly get pulled over. The police would say, step out of the car. Officer, I cannot step out of the car. Nigga, I am the car. And he hung up. I was like, God damn.
Oh, it hurts. Great job, man. I'm sorry. The great Paul Mooney,
I fucked
everybody.
up the story a little bit, but
you got to it.
That's what happened.
When you go to when you hit them with the boom, 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 that's the one that the rib,
I'm thinking about using that as a closer.
Woo. You asking me? I got an eye ache. I got a belly ache. Wow. Ay. Okay. All right, guys. That's Rashad Bashir. Dude, tell them what you've been working on. You know what I mean? Let me recover a little bit of shit.
Yeah.
I need water. I didn't bring my water. Tell them a little bit about.
Oh man. So yeah, Tino. He got to go pee right now. But this is awkward. Now I just got to talk to recording. But I'm working on my new hour. I have an unreleased hour. It's called Shiftless and Indifferent. It's my first hour special that I did. And I'm going to try to release it either through YouTube or through my Patreon. Definitely my Patreon, so people can subscribe and be my patrons through Patreon. So you can check out my unreleased hour called Shiftless and Indifferent. But then I'm going to be working on a new hour. I haven't named it yet. I've got a couple of names for it. I'm thinking of calling it At Arm's Length, or something different, or Shumble, or something that correlates with my brand. So I have that. Oh, my podcast I have is the Struggle Beard podcast. Yes, I have a struggle beard. If you don't know what a struggle beard is, it's like sometimes, when your beard doesn't connect, like Teddy Riley's phone service, it just looks like burnt cilantro on my face right in here.
Oh, man.
So
you gonna kill me, man.
The Struggle Beard podcast, it's on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Pocket Casts, Breaker. I wrote them down because it's on so many of them. Let me see. Radio Public and Anchor. So Anchor is where I record my podcast at. Mm-hmm. So I'm up to 215 plays.
Oh, plays. Okay.
Yeah, so 215 plays. So people been listening.
Okay.
So it was crazy thing is when I see where my plays are, so it grows and it shows how many plays each episode has. Okay. So it was one day my plays were at 203. The next day I checked, it jumped to 215. So it got 12 plays in one night. So I was like, oh, that's pretty dope right there. So I was really happy for that.
There you go.
So I'm just trying to grow my podcast. I'm bringing people on to the podcast, interviewing them, but we mostly talking shit, back and forth banter. Mm-hmm. I've had comedians on. I've had family on. My nephew, we talked about some issues. So nephew? That one, yeah, my nephew. He's 29 and he's got a distinctive voice.
Wait, hold on. Nephew? Putting on your nephew. He older than you?
I have 9 nieces and nephews.
Oh wow. Big
yeah. Ups. I have 9 nieces and nephews. My oldest sister, she has 2 daughters, beautiful girls.
There you go.
My oldest brother, I had an older brother and older sister.
Wow.
My older brother, he has fucking, oh my God. I'm sorry. I'm saying he got kids. Let me just say that. He got kids. Oh my God.
Like my sister got 2 and my brother.
Yeah. My brother, he
got the rest.
He's got the rest. Yeah. But I love them. I love connecting with them. All right, Tino, you looking like you got the weed Rona right now. So I don't.
No, I do.
That's
It was the combo was like, you know when you have that good laugh that like clear your sinuses and all that shit. I'm gonna go like that Paul Mooney shit because it's like, woo. You know?
Man.
I know I see his act, so to know like wow, it's just like you know, yeah. So come on, see
the reason why I like doing Paul Mooney because 1, I can do his voice. 2, I can say the things that people are afraid to say, and I can do it in his voice.
Yes,
and I don't have to be afraid to say it.
Yeah, beautiful.
Because he gets right to it, raw, just in your face, nothing held back.
That would be so great to just add. That's why it's like, I'm telling you, like, there are times when you're talking, and it's like, Mooney, I'm sorry, I know it's you talking, give me Mooney, and that's it's gonna happen to you because that's like a cherished character that people are gonna like connect to, like, you know, it's gonna get to a point like, nigga, no Mooney, man. What you talking about, Bodega, man? What?
Yo, but see, here's the thing. Godfrey, I love listening to his podcast.
Big Oh,
yeah, Godfrey, master of impersonations, master of impressions. He said, don't rely so much on your impersonations or your impressions because your jokes will suffer. Hit him with your material first. That way, your impression is just icing on the cake. It really just brings the whole act together. Now you can really be a feature and be a headliner. And he does an impression of Whoopi Goldberg. I know we talked about this on the first one, but I gotta just talk about that. And his impressions are fucking growing. My thing is, I want to be able to have a conversation with him or just prank call him as Paul Mooney. I want to prank call him as Paul Mooney. He's like, yo, who is this? and just have him like have a conversation with me either on live or go to his radio show.
Oh man! Hey, comedy guys, make this happen, man. You know what I mean?
Man.
That'll be genius, and you got some credit to you, man. I think you can start like reaching out to these folks out there that are like in that upper tier, as they say, because you know you're the next up and coming impressionist, not only impressionist, like comedian that like needs to be seen. So if you reach out to these guys or whatever, because they all know they're all gonna be like, damn, you know, send them a copy of the impressions. You know what I mean? Like, oh man, can you put me up? Can I open for you? You know
yeah.
Because your impressions are dead on. You know what I mean? I'm not just telling you that. That's the whole reason why we started. Like when I got the idea, like I'm gonna call Rashad. You do some impressions. You know what I mean? Because comedians entertain me, even on the one-on-one. You know what I mean? I
gave you the Allstate man, right?
Huh?
I gave you the Allstate man.
I did not get the Allstate man.
So you're walking down the street. You happen to see an old person coughing with their tongue out. You're saying to yourself, quarantine yourself, social distancing. But you're from Harlem. You say, 6 feet, nigga. You know the vibes. That's Allstate stand. Did you wash your hands?
I got him. I like the visual, the sofa on the street. You know what I mean? Now, if you ever do him like that. Like go to the sofa, take a sofa to the street and do it there because you know that's like
my God.
that's like his latest thing or whatever. But yeah, good impression. Good impression, but you know what I mean. Get that motherfucker, get the motherfucker the legs, because Paul Mooney is woo.
Yeah. But
Is it
I
tough to
like
get
I
like impressions up to like, okay, I mastered this one, like, all right, what's my next one to master, and then like how do you
uh
decide to like, okay, this is the next one?
if I like the character,
Mm-hmm.
if I if I look at that character and I like who they are,
Yeah.
and I'm just like I like seeing them all the time, like Sebastian Maniscalco.
Uh, oh, there you go.
You know,
Ooh,
so
ooh,
that's
yeah.
he's a
Chipotle.
yo. Sebastian Maniscalco. If you like, I like him because he's a physical comedian. He's like the you've seen his special, right?
Ah.
So he's like up there. He's very Italian, like everything he does. So we go to the bathroom and I see this guy, and I'm like, and this guy, he has no shoes on. And I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like, what are you? And he's just there. So my wife says, I gotta be nice. I gotta smile. She doesn't think I smile. She invites me over to these people. She's like, these are nice people. These are nice people. Like I just had that look, like I'll murder your entire family. Just
I'm sorry.
so we go over to these people's house, right? And the guy comes to the door. He's got a T-shirt that says #Dad. First of all, when we got to the house, they came to the door as a couple. That bothered me. So I was like, hey, how you doing? And the guy goes, hey, can you take your shoes off? This is a shoe house. This is a shoe-free environment. I'm a grown man. I am not taking off of my shoes. My wife is like, just take your shoes off. These are nice people. So I take my shoes off and I put them in the shoe farm. I go in the house. There's a group of guys huddled around, no shoes, with their socks on. With their socks. And when I'm just introducing these guys with my socks, and then one guy showed up. He was barefoot, no shoe. His toe was so big, it was headed into the other room. He comes in like, hey, what's going on? What is going on with this situation right here? I almost threw up in my mouth. That is the first time I've done that impression. I've never practiced that. I've never practiced that.
Oh, all right. Well, it's dead on. It's great. You can do a funny Italian. This is the first time I'm gonna have to tap out just because of belly pain. You know what I mean? I genuinely like. Wow. I wanted Paul Mooney when you hit me with like two that I was like, I wasn't ready.
Oh man.
I wasn't ready. So just did they get your information and everything, bro?
Yeah. Follow me
Woo.
on.
And I want to say this too. I don't want to mess around and like make it too long, and you know what I mean.
All good. You can follow me on IG and Twitter at comedian_R_Bashir2. That's comedian_R_Bashir2 on Twitter and IG. I want you guys to not look at Tino's titties that were just in the
They heard.
Are you ovulating? Look what's going on. Yeah, also check out my podcast, the Struggle Beard Podcast, on all podcast platforms. That's Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Breaker, Pocket Cast, Radio Public. Okay. So yeah, I had to, because I wrote them down. I was like, that's too many, and it's all on it. I have a movie on Amazon Prime called And There Were Four. So if you have Amazon Prime, look up And There Were Four, like the number 4. So when you type it in, And There Were Four, look out for the debut of my comedy special, Shiftless and Indifferent. I still got my new special in the works. It may be as a live special, or it may be as an album, or both. So look out for that. Tino is so high right now. Like, you are just blazed.
Yeah. It's a combination.
Oh,
yeah.
That makes it so much better. I appreciate that. Thank you for getting high. I appreciate you.
Well, yeah. I don't know if that's going to be a targeted audience, but it's like,
yeah.
I think it was a combination of like being high and hitting me with the jokes and like, yeah. And
also, I want to let people know that I do have a comedy show on Zoom. So if anybody wants to get that information, follow me on my IG and Twitter. I have a Zoom show called Harlem Evenings Virtual Comedy Show. I just say sit back, relax, and enjoy the laughs. I bring in the comedy club right to the comfort of your own home. Great comedians on the last Monday of every month. So look out for that. Look up Harlem Evenings Virtual Comedy Show on Eventbrite and RSVP today.
Wow. All right, guys, you heard it here. He's given us everything. We can't ask for anything else, and it's gonna be weird for him to edit himself. I hope.
Yeah. Oh, I know what parts to edit.
Your mind is already.
I know where all of this. I know how. So I'm watching this interview, and this guy, he has the hugest tits I've ever seen. I'm like, he looked like Grimace with boobs. I almost threw up in my mouth.
That's what she said. All right, man. I don't need you to get on another roll. This is great. Thank you, man. Thank you for everything you do. This is fucking dope.
Thank you for having me back on Be My Guest with Quarantino.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Just a little outro music, and I know you're gonna get to your editing. I know this one goes to top of the list. On the top of the list.
On the top of the list.
Just question: do I have to pay for this one?
No, this one is free. You still owe me for the other one.
I got you. I got your number.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Cut it. This is way too high. You need to cut it. This is way too high. You need to cut it.
Oh shit. All right. 20 seconds.
This is way too high. You need to cut it. The price is way too high. You need to cut it.
Say goodbye. Peace.